Our former pastor, Father Charlie, was fascinated by movies like The Godfather and the lives of people like El Chapo and the people that worked for these crime bosses because of the dedication they had. It was a parody, he thought, to what the Christian life should be. These people that work for these crime bosses totally give themselves over to the crime boss and to the sake of whatever the crime boss is doing, whatever crime he's committing. Was it shipping arms or selling alcohol or drugs or all these kinds of things? Totally give themselves over. And those who don't in these crime families, they usually don't last very long. And it's like the opposite of what it would be in the Christian life, that we should totally give ourselves over to the sake of the mission. Completely, a total investment, like these men given these talents. They're expected to totally invest these. I always thought it was interesting that, especially the movies, the Godfather movies, that we're always rooting for Michael Corleone. And you're like, this guy's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. Oh, he's not as bad as these other guys. Yeah, he is. He is. He's a bad guy. And remember the people that worked for Michael Corleone, like Lou DeBrasso or whatever his name was, his big guy. And he went over to the other crime family to settle a score. And they get him from behind and a piano wire around the neck, and he's done. And then in the second movie, when they go after this Mr. Roth down in Cuba, and one of his, Michael Corleone's henchmen go in there. I mean, they give their life. He goes in there to get Mr. Roth in the hospital, and one of the guards catches him and shoots him dead. And then Mr. Roth comes back to the United States to vote, and another henchman, knowing that he's going to die, gets him in the airport, right? And he knows before he exits the airport, he's going to get taken out. They give themselves totally over to the cause of the crime family. And in reality, remember El Chapo? He's in prison in, is it Mexico? And his people dig a tunnel under the prison and get him out. That's total dedication to the crime boss and to the cause of the crime family. A parody, Father Charlie thought, of what the Christian life should be. Now we have our guys with the talents. The master, he gives them these bars of precious metals, 77 pounds apiece for each talent. And he gives one 5, he gives another 2, he gives another 1, and he goes off on a journey. And he gave these bars according to their ability. He knows them. They've been working for him for a long time, obviously. He's gone for a long time, and he comes back to settle accounts. And one says, I've made another 5. Another says, I made another 2. I invested this. He doesn't tell him how. He didn't say, well, it's good to put this in cattle, or you over here put this in pork bellies, or you over there invest this in olive oil. No, he just gives it to him, and he expects to settle accounts on his return. And this is symbolic of our exit interview when we leave this life. We will have that face-to-face encounter with the Lord Jesus Christ, who will judge us. And I know that it's not politically correct when we say that, but it's said in the creed. Now, he came into the world not to judge but to save, but now that the message has been preached, we go back and he says, look, I gave you these gifts. What have you done with them? What have you done with them? First says, I've doubled what you gave me. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You will be given more responsibility. Then another, I've doubled these 2. Well done. Then the third, well, I knew you were demanding, so I buried it in the ground. He says, oh, you worthless servant. And he throws him out into the darkness. Isn't this mean? Isn't this mean? he buries it in the ground. This is the exit interview. Buried it in the ground. So the church fathers see this, ancient Christians see this as giving your life over to earthly things. Earthly things. Things of this world that don't really matter. I remember years ago going to this nightclub in Phoenix, long time ago in my youth. It's still there the last time I went there, but it's got a different clientele. It's called Mr. Lucky's. And every week when you would go in to this club, the same people were sitting at the same tables. And those few years that I went, I always thought, gosh, if I came back in 20 years, would those same people be sitting at those same tables? I don't know. I won't. They have a different clientele, and it's a different kind of place now. But I wondered, would these people still be kind of stuck in this earthly pursuit? It could also be that this third person, we think, oh, poor guy, he could have been jealous. He could have been jealous of the others. Well, you gave that guy 5. You gave this guy 2. Why do I only get 1? Well, I'll show you. I was buried in the ground. Just buried in the ground. And he does this maybe out of spite, according to Scott Hahn. And the master told him, you could have took this to the bankers at least and got some interest on my money. And the church fathers see this as having people help you in the Christian life. People help you. So spiritual directors, confessors, teachers, to go and say, you know, I'm not sure what the master wants with me, but he's given me this gift, and I don't know exactly what to do with it. Well, come to us. We're going to help you. We're going to help you to know. But no, burying it in the ground, totally fixed on earthly pursuits. Perhaps someone is so consumed with his or her career that we just don't have time for the religious life. Or we're so rooted in the things like going to the club, all these kinds of things that don't produce any fruit from the gifts that we're given. Friends, we're given the greatest gift on this side of heaven right here at the Mass, the Holy Eucharist. And we might say to ourselves, the Lord really didn't give me any gifts. I don't have those talents. But we're so wrong. I used to think that too. Oh, I remember even thinking that in grade school, you know, when we were in Catholic school and they'd say, you know, the teacher did took a light, right, these old-fashioned days, took a light, shined it on our profile, and then drew a profile of our head and then put it on the board and said, what are your talents? And I didn't have any. At least I didn't think I did. So I just copied the ones from my buddies. But see, I was wrong. When we come to know Christ, whether we believe it or not, whether we believe that we have gifts or not, we do. When we come to know Him, these things start to be revealed. There are things about yourself that you do not even know until we come to Christ. We have that personal relationship with Jesus Christ, personal and communal relation with Jesus Christ. We come to know these gifts. We have the greatest gift here offered to us from this altar, the Eucharist, Jesus Christ, truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity. Today, as we receive Him, let us ask Him, what are my gifts? How do you want me to multiply these and give them back to you?